Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. It's been a crazy week. I wanted to encourage everybody to check in your locality to see if there's a masjid which does ghusl of the deceased. And if there is, that we should all volunteer there at least once, if not once a month or once every so often. It's an amazing reminder. I did it and I had some reflections about it and the beautiful lessons that came with it. So I wanted to share those with you guys. I recorded a voice note immediately after the ghusl, and the idea was that I would re-listen to it, remaster it, recategorize the ideas, this, that, and I just haven't had time this week. So I'm going to post the raw audio, inshallah, as a video. So hope it benefits you guys, inshallah. And hopefully next week will be a more cinematic experience. Jazakum khairan. May Allah bless you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi
Wa alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. The feeling was mixed. It's weird be in a room with the dead and then come out and see all of the life around you. To see people just driving to work and squirrels running around and people walking half naked in the streets, completely oblivious to the moment that they're going to die. It's a bit of a very surreal experience. Everything else seems unimportant. I walked in and there was a man who was halfway done being washed, and even though I was wearing the suit to protect my body, like the jumper with the hood and the mask and the apron and the big rain boots and all of that and the gloves, you still smell the smell of the cleaning products and of the perfume they use to wash the deceased. I was amazed that they always protect the awrah of the deceased. They always protect the awrah. So even though I washed him and I washed, we washed the entire body, but we never see those parts unless it's necessary, unless there's a problem. But otherwise, we place the body. The body comes dressed in its clothes. We place a towel on top of the clothes before we do anything. Then we cut the clothes off from underneath the towel and we pull them off of the body, and we don't look at the part between the navel and the knee. We remove everything, and then they begin to cover the body in water. The body is cold. It's very, very cold, and it's stiff. And so the warm water is used to clean and also to make the body more supple and enable us to straighten it out, because sometimes the limbs will be bent, the knees will be bent, the elbows will be bent. So they're very careful about not breaking the bones, not breaking the joints. So they go very slowly. They articulate the muscles. They bend them and retract them in an opposite direction to kind of make it more easy and more fluid. They're very careful not to allow water to enter too deep into the orifices and into the nose, into the ears, the mouth, the eyes. Very careful. They block those things, and then they wipe them. They wipe them and basically just wet them, as opposed to like a deep wash, because you want the body to be as dry as possible for the time where it's going to be wrapped up. And they wash it multiple times with various products to make sure it's very, very clean, to make sure that when this body, is placed in the ground to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's very clean and it smells very nice, it's perfumed. And then you make wudu for this person. We clipped the nails, we cleaned everything. This person, who just a few moments ago had a life, had a breath, was as alive as I am, and now is as dead as I will be. And as dead as you will be, and it was as alive as you were, and it is now as dead as you will be. It's heavy. I remember thinking to myself, every single one of these beard hairs on his face experienced something, lived something, saw things, and these hands, everything his hands had done throughout his life, everywhere his feet had walked throughout his life, everything his eyes had seen throughout his life, his ears had heard, his mouth had said, his nose had, smelled. You really begin to see how all of this will bear witness, either for you or against you on the Day of Judgment. And I pray that he was a pious man, and that if he was, that Allah increases him in goodness, and if he has any sins, may Allah forgive them and remove all of this from his ledger, from his book. Both of these men, I had never met them before in my life, but Allah had destined, they didn't know me, I didn't know them, but Allah had destined that, me and the other 3 brothers in the room would be the ones to clean them. And I don't know who's going to clean me. I don't know, who's going to bury me. I don't know who's going to pray for me. But I pray that Allah accepts from them. I'm going to make an effort to come for Salatul Dhuhr and pray janazah on them. The 2 men that I washed. One man, his name was Abdul Latif, and I believe his last name was Mirza, I'm not sure, but his first name was Abdul Latif. And the second man, his name was Anayatullah Habib. These were the 2 brothers that I washed. May Allah have mercy on them and forgive them. And yeah, bro, I remember I was being very gentle, not to put any pressure, because I don't know how hard I can go on a body, right? That's deceased. And the brother said, come on, bro, like wash it as if you're washing yourself, so scrub. You get all the impurities out. So you scrub. They basically pull him onto one side, and then you pull the towel again. You always cover the awrah. And then you scrub properly. You always make sure that the head is, not dangling, not falling. It's being lifted in line with the body. Lifting it. Communication is so important. Communicating with the people on the other side of you. Am I lifting? Am I pulling? Am I pushing? Like, to make sure that the body is respected, and that even after death, there's this sense of like honor and dignity we give to the body. We don't want him to just roll out of our hands, and even if he doesn't fall off the table, just the fact that he might basically fall onto the table in a way which could be disrespectful or undignified for a person. So we're very careful about that. Very careful not to allow water to enter the nose and the mouth. They were very careful when they were making wudu, when they were washing the areas of wudu. When they were rolling up the wrapping in the kafan, making it very tight, making sure to perfume the kafan. It was very very beautiful how much respect and honor they gave the dead. And you're basically, your entire focus is on this dead person, right? You're not thinking about the other people in the room. You're not thinking about your own ego, about your own life. You're not thinking about anything except this man that you're washing. And so your focus is on the dead, right? Washing him properly. You see his face over and over and over again, and it's a lifeless face. It's just done. And that's what's gonna happen to all of us. We're gonna be just like that, bro. It almost looked like he was sleeping. Almost. It was like a very, very deep sleep, like a very, very serene sleep. Subhanallah, la ilaha illallah. And so your focus is on this dead person, and then once you leave that room and you put him in the coffin and you drill it up and you seal it, and then you come out of that room, you look around, and just the contrast and seeing all of that life afterwards, the contrast is crazy. The contrast is really, subhanAllah, it's shocking. It's shocking to look at the lifeless again and again and again and again for a few hours, and then you come out into the world and everyone's alive, and no one looks like that, But, most people who've ever lived look like him, and it's a very small minority who look like us, and we're going to join them and they're not going to join us until the day that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides that everyone gets up. And that's the day of reckoning. So you ask yourself, what have you prepared for that moment? You ask yourself, what have you prepared for the reckoning? Because that man, I don't know how much he would have wanted to say Subhanallah or La ilaha illallah, any kind of dhikr. I don't know, but probably it would have been something that he would have wanted to do. And he doesn't have that opportunity anymore, his book, it's closed. So unless he gave some sadaqah jariyah, or he taught someone something of benefit, or he has a pious child making dua for him, These are the three things that continue, right? Where we can make dua for him and make sadaqah for him, right? But his book of deeds is closed. And, right now our book of deeds is open. So, what are you going to write in it? How much are you going to write? How much are you going to fill it up before it's closed? And you don't know when it's going to close, so you should write fast, right? Write fast and write well, because you don't know when it's going to close. Allah protect us and honor us. Protect us and honor us. And make us among those who have a beautiful death, and a beautiful life, and a beautiful resurrection. اللهم صل وسلم على رسول الله وعلى اله وصحبه اجمعين سبحان ربك رب العزه عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين.